for news. Eyewitness News starts right now.
Thousands of teachers taking their fight to the state capitol, giving lawmakers an earful over benefits and pay. Some state leaders questioning their motives.
They're being cited by union leadership.
And some parents supportive of the cause, but not sure it's being done the right way.
I do not approve of them striking like this.
And caught in the middle, students, with groups now doing what they can to make sure they don't fall through the cracks.
We've got people that are feeding kids, making sure that the kids that they know need taken care of are taken care of.
And now, the big question, how long will this last?
Tonight, we are still following the developing story, the West Virginia teacher walkout, with thousands of teachers and public employees flocking to the state capitol today, closing schools in all 55 counties to get their message to lawmakers.
Eyewitness News reporter Kaylee Gunderson here now live with us with a look at what happened inside and outside the chambers on the first day of the statewide teacher walkout. Kaylee.
Yeah, guys, all those schools were closed today. Nearly 5,000 teachers and other public employees went to work at the Capitol, calling on their lawmakers to do more for their pay and health insurance.
Today has been quite exhilarating, quite frankly.
Sonia Hartshorn chose to step away from her third grade class today, joining thousands of fellow teachers here at the Capitol.
We want to do our jobs, we want to do good jobs, but it's hard with this laying on our shoulders.
It's the dissatisfying pay raise, PEIA freeze, potential lowering of educator requirements with 700 teacher vacancies in West Virginia, and the seniority bill that Hartshorn says could send the state's education into a downward spiral.
If we keep going down the path we're on, the quality educators are going to be less and less here in West Virginia.
Changes, she says, are insufficient. Senate President Mitch Carmichael says is what they can offer right now.
Over the next 1 year, the citizens of West Virginia need to realize that the people that are here protesting have had no increase in their health care premiums and will receive an additional $1,300 in their paycheck.
As many packed the galleries, thousands were standing outside the doors when Carmichael showed up in front of the crowd, waiting for him to say something.
You know, as a teacher, I know I can give a hand signal, try to quiet down, but there was no hand signal, no anything. It was simply a glare at the crowd.
This was just day one. The crowds will return Friday for the second day of the statewide teacher walkout. It could face legal challenges, with the Attorney General saying it is an illegal strike, but Education Association President Dale Lee says it's their right.
We have a First Amendment right to have our voices heard, and that's what these people are doing. We'll face the consequences, we'll face the decisions as they come, we'll make the correct strategy and the proper moves, but we're not going to quieten the voices of our people. We're going to make sure that their voices are heard across the state.
WVEA Union President Dale Lee says as of right now, this is a 2-day strike, but tomorrow they do plan to reevaluate where to go next. He says they plan to let the public know in advance if the work stoppage could continue past tomorrow so families can be prepared. And on top of the rallying at the Capitol, teachers and people across the country have been getting their message out throughout social media.
That's right, Kaylee. From creative signs and costumes to Facebook Live showing exactly what's happening right here in the capital city. Public employees have used social media as a tool, pushing their message nationwide. We want to give you a look at what we've been looking at all day. This comes from Amy Baker. She's made it a family affair, bringing the kids along for these protests. She posted a picture of her 2 kids here saying she's never been prouder as a mother. She's never been more hopeful as a West Virginia teacher. Also, keeping it in the family with our furry friends here, PEIA, life is rough with Jim in office is what this sign says. Also, this picture is from the Eastern Panhandle. Many of the teachers up there did not make the trek down here to Charleston, but they held their own rallies in counties like Jefferson, Berkeley, and Morgan as well, and they've been connecting with teachers down here through social media. Also, this woman put her own spin on the PEIA abbreviation, pushing educators into adjacent states. Many teachers have voiced concerns that their pay here in West Virginia is just not competitive when compared with other border states like Maryland or Ohio. Here's another shot. People definitely getting creative with some of these signs. This guy says, my bikini covers more than PEIA. So people definitely making their jokes heard with some of these signs. Also, all 55 counties will be closed again tomorrow for day 2 of this statewide walkout. If you have any pictures you would like to send our way, you can send them to burst.com/WCHS TV. We'll, of course, have full coverage of all of this again tomorrow. In the studio, Jesse Starkey, Eyewitness News.
Jesse, thanks. Teachers, union reps, legislators, and media have been basically stationed at the Capitol all week. Conspicuously absent, though, the governor. Despite numerous attempts from Eyewitness News to speak to him, Governor Justice has chosen only to send out pre-written news releases. We do know he's around, though. Earlier today on Facebook, he passed along his sympathies for the death of a West Virginia coal miner, and he's still coaching girls high school basketball. We'll keep trying to get a face-to-face comment with Justice as this progresses.
Back inside the Capitol, House Bill 4625, or the surplus bill as it's known, was passed today, now on its way to the Senate. The bill would designate 20% of any surplus dollars to the PEIA Stability Fund. Currently, half of the surplus goes to general revenue, with the other half going to the rainy day fund. The problem teachers have with this bill is that it's not a guarantee. There's no telling what the surplus could be from year to year. Last year, for example, West Virginia had a $76 million surplus, which would have meant about $15 million for PEIA.
And for many students, the meals they get at school are the only ones they will eat for the entire day. So with no school because of the work stoppage, Central United Methodist Church in Huntington is providing free meals. For the weekend, entrees will also be given out to students. Some of the volunteers helping out with this effort are actually teachers themselves.
We've got people that are feeding kids, making sure that the kids that they know need taken care of are taken care of. We've got teachers that are in Charleston that are up there fighting and talking to the legislators and making themselves known. And then we've got the ones that are out making sure that the community knows what we're doing. And I think that we have to do that.
Literal says the church will be ready with more food and volunteers should the work stoppage last into next week.
An area car dealer is making sure students don't go hungry as well during the stoppage. Chris Miller, owner of Dutch Miller of Charleston, donating $5,000 worth of food to the Facing Hunger Food Bank. Volunteers bagged that up. It'll feed about 1,000 kids in Cabell, Wayne, and Lincoln counties for 4 days. And as this progresses, we will continue to update this ever-developing story right here on Eyewitness News and on WCHSTV.com.
Well, we saw some showers today, mainly up to the north around southern Ohio, parts of eastern Kentucky, and we've got more rain coming in on Saturday. So what we're doing is checking out the hydrology report. We're down below action stage now at Point Pleasant. That's good news. But with rain coming in on Saturday and Sunday, we're going to see that those river levels go back up into the minor flood stage by late Friday and into Sunday in the moderate stage and possibly major stage by the time we get into the latter part of Monday. And for Portsmouth, we're just in the minor flood stage. We're going to drop down below it, but then as we go through the weekend and beyond, we're going to go up into the moderate flood stage. So we could be looking at some more problems as we go through the weekend. I'll tell you how much rain we can expect. That's all part of my forecast. I'll be back with that in just a few more minutes.
Next tonight, United States Attorney Mike Stewart announcing today that former Logan County School Superintendent Phyllis Doty has been indicted on several counts of fraud.
Also faces theft charges after investigators say she stole more than $12,000 worth of high-tech electronics that belonged to the county school system. It all dates back to the years 2011 through 2015. The indictment detailing that she stole at least 20 Apple iPods and iPads that were bought by the Logan County Board of Ed for use in the school. She allegedly sold some of those devices online, gave others away to her family members. The indictment also accuses her of ordering more than $6,000 worth of wedding supplies using Logan County Board of Ed money. Attorneys tell us Doty tried to cover up several of her schemes. In fact, some of the items were ordered by Logan County teachers. Doty is charged with 2 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of theft, and 1 count of mail fraud.
Charleston police officers arrested 14 people today on the city's west side after another undercover sting. It is an ongoing effort by Charleston police to cut down on crime all across the city. Police Chief Steve Cooper tells us he continues to work with business owners to hear their concerns. Today's sting comes after numerous complaints of vandalism, theft, and panhandling. 7 of those arrested today reported being homeless.
Once they're arrested and whatever the disposition the court does, that's out of our hands. But the law enforcement has taken the appropriate steps and doing what we can to address the problems that we're seeing in the city.
These undercover stings will continue across the city, charges ranging from trespassing to drug and alcohol possession.
New information tonight on last night's shooting where a man walked into Thomas Memorial Hospital after being shot in the back. Charleston police identifying him today as 26-year-old Christopher Slater of Sissonville. Slater apparently told police he and 3 women went to the Vandalia Apartments on Dorchester Road in Charleston to buy drugs. While inside Slater's car, Charleston police say Christopher Bennett tried to rob one of those women. During that robbery, police say Bennett, pictured here, shot Slater in the back. Slater's injuries are not considered life-threatening. He's already been released from the hospital. Police are now asking for your help to track down Christopher Bennett, who will be charged with first-degree robbery and malicious wounding and should be considered armed and dangerous.
Officials say an employee has died at a Raleigh County coal mine. According to the West Virginia Department of Commerce, James Whitlock of Smithers was killed yesterday while he was performing electrical work on a high wall mine at the Pocahontas Coal Company Devil's Fork 2 high wall mine. Inspectors from the Office of Miners Health, Safety and Training have started their investigation. Whitlock was 38 years old.
Sad news out of Huntington tonight. A Marshall University football player died today after being shot at a New Year's Eve party earlier this year. 19-year-old Larry Aaron was a defensive tackle, shot during that party in his home state of Maryland. The shooting left him paralyzed. Officials say he passed away following complications from his injuries. Thundering Herd coach Doc Holliday offered his support and condolences to Aaron's family, saying, quote, "We lost an incredible young man. The entire Herd family is praying for Larry Aaron's family."
Problems behind bars in Boyd County. What authorities are doing right now to fix dozens of violations that led to escapes, riots, and the indictment of a jailer.
All right, we had some heavy rain up in the northern part of our viewing area today, southern Ohio, parts of West Virginia. We have a flood watch posted until Sunday because the ground is saturated and we've got more rain coming up through Sunday morning. So this will take us through right about that time when the rain should be about out of here. And we also have a flood warning up, an aerial flood warning for parts of Athens, Vinton counties, also into Meigs County. That's going to expire at tomorrow at 1:45 in the morning, so not that long to go with that. And of course, we still have a flood warning along the Ohio River around Portsmouth. That goes all the way till Sunday, 12:48 p.m. And so those flood warnings are still in place, and they're going to stay there as this next batch of rain comes in over the weekend. Showers tonight, late tonight. Mostly dry tomorrow, except up towards the north, and a wet weekend is on the way. Look at these temperatures. We've got a little boundary. You can see where that line of demarcation is. We've got 50s and even 60s to the south of this line and 40s up that way and up to the north. And so that's the sort of the dividing line between what areas are going to get the most rain and not. We're going to be looking for decent conditions tonight on the roads, but wet, possibly with some ponding, especially up to the north. And of course, the north in parts of southern Ohio, that's where we have all the streets closed from the flooding. So we've got a lot more problems up that way. We've got this low pressure system riding along this front. We're going to be looking at some showers tonight as we go in through tomorrow. They'll be scattered around mainly up to the north, though, I think. And then as we go into Saturday, we get a better chance of rain coming in with this trailing cold front moving in, and that'll be sticking around as we go through Saturday and on into Sunday. And then after Sunday morning, looks like things finally get out of here. Rainfall forecast as we go through Sunday, Charleston about an inch, Huntington about an inch and a half, and 1 to 2 inches up to the north. So if we get those totals all the way through Sunday, it won't be as bad as it certainly could be, but we'll have to just be watching that very carefully. Our February average monthly temperature is now 42.9, 6 degrees above normal. And that combines the highs and the lows to give you an idea where it could be at any given time. But still not we're still not on track to be one of the top 10 warmest Februaries, but we have had 5 days of 70 degrees or warmer. And of course, 1 day up in the 80s. That's incredible. 48 tonight, cloudy skies. We got some rain showers coming in late. Tomorrow, 76, mostly cloudy, and most of the shower activity will be up to the north, but no matter where you are, if you keep an umbrella nearby, not a bad idea. A little breezy as well. So a few showers tomorrow, So heavier rain up north. Then we have the heavy rain possible Saturday and Sunday, maybe some storms right around 70 degrees. Finally, a break. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, dry in the 60s. Slight chance of showers on Thursday. Now, Doug Harlow's in here bright and early tomorrow morning. Make sure you check with him before you head out the door because he'll tell you where all the rain showers are at that given time. Have a great night. One final look at your forecast coming up in just a bit.
Specifics being released after an audit into just how troubled that Boyd County jail is. That's after the break.
Jail has had a horrible track record over the last year with 11 inmate escapes, a riot, multiple inmate overdoses, and just this week, the jailer indicted on a malfeasance charge.
They've got some issues. Tonight we're getting our first look at just how many issues behind the jail walls. Eyewitness News reporter Sean Delancey takes an in-depth look from Catlettsburg.
The people of Boyd County know there are problems inside the county jail, and thanks to a safety audit commissioned by the fiscal court, they can see it with their own eyes. 12 security issues were noted, worrying people like Stephen Fraley.
I've had some bad experiences since my daughter's been here. I think, somebody needs to be in charge of something here and get some stuff done and fixed.
The report's 12 security issues include escape risks like pipe chase doors welded shut or improperly sealed with non-detention grade lock sets, holes in walls at inmate housing areas that can be expanded or used to hide contraband, and light fixtures in metal ceilings that can be pushed through, revealing space above. There are also safety hazards like broken security glazing, some areas pulled free as a potential weapon, and sharp metal casings unsecured in common areas.
It just needs to be straightened up.
The Boyd County Fiscal Court called for Jailer Joe Burchett's resignation months ago.
We tried to talk with Jailer Joe Burchett as he left for work today, but he refused any comment. In the past, he said that he would not be stepping down, but an indictment for malfeasance issued earlier this week by a grand jury could force him out of office.
We anticipated that that's what the grand jury would do.
On the phone, Judge Executive Steve Toller says they will begin the process of replacing Burchett if he's found guilty of malfeasance and spend the next year pumping $50 grand into fixing the issues noted in the report. He says they've already spent $25 grand in the last 2 months.
We will get all these items done and we'll have a secure jail as our plan will allow us.
In Catlettsburg, Sean Delancey, Eyewitness News.
Burchett has an arraignment hearing on March 9th on that malfeasance charge. It's a misdemeanor, wouldn't carry any jail time, but he could be fined and removed from office if he's found guilty.
Our special series on immigration continues tonight. What Sweden is doing to welcome Muslim immigrants and what the Swedes are doing to keep their identities. That's after the break.
Political correctness is nothing new, but for some in Sweden, speaking out about certain policies can come with consequences.
Jonathan Elias explains in tonight's Inside Your World.
With a rise in asylum seekers in a few short years, Sweden has seen some change. More than 250,000 people in 2014 and 15 applied to live in the country, most originating from Muslim-majority countries like Syria, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Just over half of those applications were accepted.
This is Malmö, Sweden, one of the biggest cities in the southernmost part of the country. And that bridge right there, that connects Denmark into Sweden. That's where most of the refugees and immigrants come into this country. And it used to be that Sweden had an open border policy. But because of the recent immigration issues, that's changing.
By 2016, Sweden restricted its borders. During that same period of time, stats provided by the government show a rise in violent crime.
But why in just the last couple of years would that become a problem? What's happened? What's changed?
I would like to say Moderaterna, but...
But try talking about those numbers, and Swedes clam up. Any issues with it?
I don't want to talk about that.
Do you think a lot of people are hesitant about talking out about it for fear of being called a racist?
Yes, they are afraid to lose their job. I can lose my job, but I'm not so afraid.
This idea of political correctness is making it tough for some to express how they feel about the refugee influx and what that's meant for their country. While it's not hard to find people to talk about the changes they've noticed in the past few years,
it's gotten tougher, but it has to do very much with gangs and people that are not integrated.
Not about immigration, no. It's about integration. Some people, they don't want to integrate here from the Middle East.
some feel it's not immigration, but integration that's the problem.
It depends how you talk about it, but
journalist Nicholas Orenius notes it is a delicate line.
There have been some, in my view, unfair accusations of racism of people who just want to bring up an important issue. I mean, if you paint all the Muslims with the same brush, of course, I don't like that either.
While the Swedish government took the steps to limit entry into their country by restricting its borders, most Swedes on camera say they want to continue welcoming those who need help and a new home.
Of course, there are some problems, but they're all welcome to Sweden.
Sweden has a fantastic immigration system, you know, to receive the people and to help them. So I'm not touched in any way. I don't see any problem.
There's an expression in Swedish like the middle way is the best way, and I think I'll stick to that.
Well, whether that middle way solves the issues that have come with a mass of refugees, that remains to be seen, leaving this question. If some Swedes feel inhibited about discussing the problem in public, can the country actually find solutions? For Inside Your World, I'm Jonathan Elias.
Marshall looking to pick up their 20th win of the season tonight in a place that's been very kind to them. Mark Martin has highlights from the Cam Henderson Center with Old Dominion in town next in sports.
And hi there, great to have you along. It has been home, sweet home this season for the Thundering Herd of Marshall. The Herd entering tonight's game with Old Dominion, having won 14 of 15 inside the Cam Henderson Center. Marshall came into the contest fourth in the latest Conference USA standings, while ODU was tied for second with Western Kentucky. Those two trailing nationally ranked Middle Tennessee, who sits at the top with just one defeat, and that loss was handed out by the Thundering Herd. Marshall looking for a 20th win of the campaign tonight. Next to last home game, John Elmore, Ideen Penova getting together here on a nice little pick and roll. And this time Elmore finding C.J. Burks just beyond the three-point line. Then it's going to be Burks, and he's going to hand off to Elmore, who finishes with the layup. Both had 24 tonight. Monarchs in front for the better part of the first half. Brandon Smith throwing down an alley-oop. And now in the second half, Penova finds Greenbrier East product Rondell Watson for the slam. The Herd hanging around down by two until Burks hits a go-ahead three-pointer right here. The reigning Conference USA Player of the Week has expected a great game between these two, and ODU going to get a second win of the season for the Thundering Herd. 84-79. Marshall meets up with Charlotte on Saturday night in the regular season home finale. Be with us Saturday morning at 9:30 on Fox 11 for Marshall Basketball Today with Dan D'Antoni, presented by the West Virginia Lottery. Bring you Herd highlights, introduce you to players and staff, and go one-on-one with the head coach of the Thundering Herd. Well, it was 8 mats strong tonight inside Huntington's Big Sandy Superstore Arena as the 71st annual West Virginia High School State Wrestling Tournament got underway. And it would be Parkersburg South and Independence coming in as the defending team champs. Picking up AAA 106. Riverside's London Dotson with the pin of Musselman's Nathan Bowers. That comes in the first period. AA Single A 106 now. Christopher Smith of Point Pleasant, a freshman, and gets the two, and he gets the major decision, 14-0. Staying AA Single A, Jake Long at 106 from Braxton County pins Bradley Brown of Liberty Raleigh in the third period. AA Single A 106, Work County freshman Logan Powell getting 2 points, and he goes on for a 7-4 decision over Eli Nazelrot of Petersburg. AA Single A 113, teammate Hunter Poole scores 2 points against Roan's Zaya Blackwell, gets a technical fall of 17-0. AAA 120, and it's going to be Huntington sophomore Alex Vire scoring 2, and he gets a 10-8 victory in overtime over St. Albans senior Tyler Powell. AAA 126, George Washington's Jack Loria pins Hedgesville's Kyle Price, and that comes in the second period. AAA 126, Tristan Atkins of Huntington gets 2. Atkins earns a major decision. Back to AA Single A 126, Mitchell Freeman of Point Pleasant, a point against Gavin Ray of Oak Glen, and that leads to a 9-3 victory. AA Single A 132, Wahama's Trevor Hunt scores 3 against Gunnar Childers of Liberty Harrison and gets a victory by a pin in the third. AAA 138, Noah Bailey of St. Albans with 2 against Gabe Dempsey of Huntington, and he would get a 10-3 decision. Back to AA Single A 132, Work County's Wyatt Powell with the pin of Gage Smith of Doddridge County in the second period. Finally, AAA 145, Isaac Isabel of GW pins Hampshire's Raymond Buckler in the first period. Let's look at the team standings. Parkersburg South and Independence, big surprise. They are at the top of the standings after night number 1. And that's sports here at 11 o'clock.
Looking pretty dry tomorrow. Most of the rain that falls is going to be up to the north. We could see a few scattered showers elsewhere, but we'll be in the mid-70s. And then the heaviest rain comes in Saturday and Sunday with highs around 70. And we're dry Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and that will be welcome news.
All right, Eyewitness News continues at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Jimmy Kimmel Live is next. Take care.
We'll see you.